everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from extraordinarily beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah.
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
The podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up today, we're going to be talking about a very odd and unique Mormon belief. I suppose they're all odd. But Heavenly Mother.
One of the many ways in which Mormonism is a polytheistic religion.
Yeah.
Don't be fooled, kids.
Yeah.
They're not monotheists.
No. And there's been this newfound fascination with Heavenly Mother. It was always hush-hush Heavenly Mother when we were growing up.
Yeah.
But now it's like people actually are willing to acknowledge Heavenly Mother in like more official settings. There have been books that have come out about Heavenly Mother.
Yeah.
I think there was like a picture book last year or something like that for kids. Anyway,
let's get to it later.
That will be all coming up on the second half of the show.
Yeah.
In the meantime,
you know what I'm going to do? Because people don't. A lot of our listeners don't realize that we do video too. I'm going to adjust this lamp for our YouTube.
Oh
viewers.
yeah. Look, it's off centered, and Dan is centering it. Beautiful, Dan. Perfect.
There. I want everyone who appreciates our show in any of the formats. I want them all to get a good quality. Experience.
It all must be good. And speaking of good, Dan.
Yeah.
What do you think of those razors that we have been using?
Let me tell you something. Increasingly, it is important in these hot days of summer. Now, if you're one of our Australian listeners, just flip this to another time. To next
hit pause for 6 months.
To 6 months. But man, you want to get as much of that hair off of you as you can.
Oh dear God.
Because it is scorching out there. And the way to do it is harrys.com. Harrys.com, you're going to get it's a subscription service. You're never going to run out of razor. You're never going to have to use a dull razor again because it just comes to you.
Right.
When you need it most, ta-da, it's there.
You get another one, yeah.
You can try it for free because
which is really fantastic and amazing.
Because you and I, Frank, are generous and like to give to our people.
Yeah. Well, and that shows such a faith in their own product.
Right?
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because they know it's good. Because they got their own factory. Mm-hmm. They're making their own blades in Germany, precision engineered blades.
Yeah.
So you got the 5-blade head, you get the weighted ergonomic handle, you get that shave gel that you and I love so
much. Adore.
Yeah, and the travel blade cover, you get all of that for free. All you pay is some shipping. And you do it through our portal, harrys.com/TGIA. That's easy enough to remember.
Yeah.
Thank God I'm Atheist, TGIA. You go to harrys.com/TGIA. And if you hate it, Harry's stands behind the quality, so basically they've created this trial offer. You're out nothing.
Right.
And then you just cancel, and it's no big deal. So make sure you go to harrys.com/TGIA to redeem your offer and let them know that Frank and I sent you.
Yeah.
And help support the show.
Indeed. Dan.
Yeah.
Turns out that this Pope Francis guy is an evolving figure.
Who is this fella?
Oh, good Lord, man. I don't know. I honestly don't know who he is. Right? Like, he could show up at my door and I wouldn't know who he is. I'd be like, who are you? Who are you?
Who is this Argentine stranger bursting through my door?
Yeah, this is the man who has been he sort of knows how to give a nod to like the more progressives in the world.
He knows how to talk to them liberal Catholics.
He may not do a ton on those issues, but he knows how to talk to them. Well, he's actually talking the talk big time to CEOs and top executives of the fossil fuel industry.
Oh.
He actually hosted a bunch of them at the Vatican, including the CEO of British Petroleum, so the chief executive of BlackRock Inc., the chief executive of ExxonMobil.
Oh my!
Right, they were all here for this fossil fuel and climate change meetup that was entitled "Energy Transition and Care for Our Common Home." It was co-sponsored by the University of Notre Dame.
Wow! And Exxon actually sent somebody. That's
their
great.
Top people.
Wow!
To be delivered the message of a need to hasten a transition away from fossil fuels. And he says, guys, there's no time to lose. This is a challenge of epical proportions. Civilization requires energy, but energy use must not destroy civilization. He praised them, for being there and for adjusting some business practices to reduce emissions as climate change worsens. But he said it's not enough, and that a radical transition to new forms of energy must happen now. That there's a catastrophic rise in global temperatures, harsher environments, and increased levels of poverty. Those are the things that are at issue with climate change.
What does it say about the world in which we live, where the head of a dogmatic organization is more in touch with what the science is saying than the head of our country?
Oh, it's bad.
That says something really scary to me.
So it's bad for us, but I think it's good for the world that the Pope is coming out so strongly. And the Pope summons you to the Vatican. I don't care who you are. You fucking show up, right?
I would.
Right? I think you're a top executive, you run a huge corporation, and the Pope says, hey, there's this uncomfortable thing I need to tell you. Right. But you're coming, and I'm going to tell it to you.
Yeah.
I think you just go and do it. And
it's not like the heads of ExxonMobil and BP are actually going to be like, oh yeah, let's stop oil then.
Well,
I think they see the writing on the wall too. I'm guessing that
the problem
they're
is
looking for a transition.
The problem is they saw the writing on the wall back in the 1970s. They did the research. They paid for the research that initially pointed out climate change as being a man-made problem, and they quickly buried it.
Yeah.
And then spent tons of money into climate change denial.
Yeah.
Right? And so nonetheless, what we do have though right now is somebody with a very interesting pulpit, so to speak.
A literal one.
From which to preach the gospel of climate change.
Yeah.
And I'm all for it. I think that it's, we wouldn't be hearing this from old Ratsy.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm very disturbed that our quote unquote secular government has been firing scientists left and right, or they've been quitting,
defunding their
work, getting rid of their of all of the evidence based. Anything evidence based is out.
Turning the EPA from a watchdog organization that's out there fighting for the environment, the climate, the people, into an organization that is just protecting industry.
Right. Yes. And it is now. They should probably just change the letters. It should be the IPA, the Industry Protection Agency,
exactly,
as opposed to the.
But let's not forget that Trump has pulled us out of the Paris Accords. Right?
Yeah.
The Paris Climate Accord.
Yeah.
And he also, called climate change a hoax.
Yeah.
Perpetrated by the Chinese government.
By the Chinese, right. Yeah. So literally, our secular government is becoming a dogmatic
conspiracy theorist
conspiracy organization.
Yeah.
And the dogmatic conspiracy organization of the Catholic Church has turned into the watchdog of science.
Right.
I think we've gone a little topsy-turvy, frankly.
Yeah.
We're in a weird time. It's weird, you guys. Yeah. It's a weird time in the world. It's not just these United States where conservative Christians try to deck the halls of our secular government buildings with Christian propaganda / iconography.
Yeah.
I'm taking us to Bavaria in Germany.
Oh, Bavaria.
Schöne Deutschland.
I feel like a pretzel for some reason.
Yeah, suddenly we need 12-foot tall beers. The premier of Bavaria, Markus Söder, has decided to put a cross in all state buildings, prominently displayed at the entrance.
Oh, God almighty.
Of every state building. He says the cross has, quote, a defining effect on the identity of our society.
Oh, God.
And it somehow shows our Bavarian identity and way of life.
It should be a hot cross bun, not a...
The Germans do have some baked goods, it's true. Again, let's continue a theme, shall we? Which is that the national heads of Germany, both Germany's Roman Catholic Church and Germany's Bavarian or Protestant Church, both of the heads of these two organizations live in Munich, which is the capital of Bavaria. And both have come out against this.
Good Lord.
What the fuck is happening? The Cardinal Reinhard Marx, who is the Archbishop of Munich and sort of head of the entire German all of Catholicism in Germany, said, quote, the cross can't be ordered from above. He said, if the cross is seen only as a cultural symbol, then it's been misunderstood. And claimed that Söder's decision has brought division, agitation, and confrontation.
Topsy turvy.
What the fuck is happening?
Topsy turvy.
What the fuck is happening?
What's up is down. What's down is up.
Dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria. It's so funny. Yeah, the Bishop Heinrich Bedford Strom, which is the Munich's Lutheran bishop and head of the Evangelical Church in Germany, which is the AKD, basically said that this move, that using the cross as a political device, quote, it demeans the meaning of the cross. He says, that means the cross means loving your enemy, helping the weak, and is a commandment of love for all instead of using it to ward off others, which I love that sort of vampiric idea that the cross...
That's what garlic is for.
Right. But you know what? That's kind of what it's doing. It's like, you know what? It's making those who don't see the cross as a... Because you and I, if we see a cross, it's unwelcoming to us.
Yeah, that is true.
If a Muslim comes in, that's basically saying we don't want you here.
Right.
You're using it the way you think it affects vampires.
So stop it.
Here's another weird twist to this, which is that he's actually trying. This Markus Söder guy is actually trying to, in part, use this move to bring people a little further left of right. Because he's using it as a way to try and woo people who have gone to the far right, which the far right party in Germany is called the AfD, Alternative for Germany.
Right.
And that party is the party that's been, like, they're hugely anti-immigrant. They're wildly xenophobic. And they've done well in recent years because of all of the influx of refugees from the Middle East and Northern Africa.
Right.
And so this is actually a move to try and like pull the most hateful xenophobes from the far right to just the mostly right, just the right as opposed to the extreme radical right.
So he's trying to placate them.
Yeah, he's like, look, we're super Christian too.
That's not how the radical fringes of movements work.
No, but it's weird. Like, again, topsy-turvy. Let's put up crosses to pull people from the extreme right.
It doesn't make any sense.
None of it makes any sense. The world doesn't make any sense anymore. I think that is the theme of today's show.
Oh my God. Well, I'm going to stay in Europe.
Okay.
2 stories.
I
have 2 stories. They're essentially the same story, with in different countries. Dealing with slightly different things, but the outcome is sort of the same.
Okay.
Denmark has passed a law banning burqas and niqabs in public.
Okay.
They, of course, join other European countries like France, Austria, we'll get back to Austria, and Belgium that have passed similar laws.
So you can wear a burqa in the comfort of your own home if you're feeling kind of kinky.
Whatever turns you on.
I love it.
So let's just get down to definitions here.
Okay.
Dan, what is the difference between a burqa and a niqab? Do you know?
I really don't.
I bet you could, in general terms, at least describe kind of both of them.
I feel like a burqa is head to toe.
Yes.
And it covers to wrist and ankle all the way. Does the burqa cover the face entirely?
So far, without where you just went with the face, you've described both. They're both highly covering garments, right? Robes.
But one of them covers the face pretty much entirely.
So the burqa is the nice one that has the little net screen, so that the women can see out, but you can't see in.
Okay.
Like they're like in a big mascot costume,
right?
And there's that little screen.
I'm going to start thinking of women in burqas as just Islam's mascots. That's what I'm going to do.
As long as there's like a little trampoline they can
do a dunk.
Bounce off of and flip and do dunk a basketball. The niqab leaves area around the eyes open.
Oh, okay. The niqab, it's like a slit.
Yes.
So that you're like a middle-aged.
Look like a ninja.
A ninja. I was gonna say someone in armor in a nice suit of armor.
More of a very loose-fitting ninja outfit.
Yeah.
Is what a niqab
a flowy.
looks like.
You're a flowy ninja in the niqab.
Well, anyway, Denmark. Yes, they say that this law is not aimed at any specific religion. That's the government's official stance. Along with the full face veils, balaclavas would also be banned. It does not, however, ban headscarves, turbans, Jewish skull caps, or face coverings that are worn for, quote, a recognizable purpose, such as during cold weather. So you can cover your face with a scarf,
right? So
because it's recognizable to their sort of culture, I guess.
Yeah, that's where you're on pretty shaky ground, logically speaking. Like the ostensible justification for this is that if you're not showing your face in public, you could be up to something nefarious. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I think the justification is we need to show our faces in public for public safety.
Right.
That's why we show our face. It's how we identify you from somebody else who might be up to no good.
Right. So if you can get away with wandering around the streets with your face covered, then you could commit a crime and nobody could identify you.
But when it's snowing and it's super cold and the wind is blowing, nobody would ever think of committing a crime under that circumstance. So a scarf is okay.
A scarf is fine.
So you can cover your face. You're clearly Danish,
right?
You know, what is that?
Or if you just maybe you claim you keep bees, and so you can cover your face.
I think essentially as long as it's a Burberry pattern, it's okay. Right.
Yeah, just claim that you're cold all the time. Islamic ladies.
So that's the one story. That's Denmark.
Okay.
Over in Austria, oh boy, their right-wing government is planning to shut down 7 mosques and expel up to 60 imams.
What?
In what is being described as just the beginning of a crackdown on political Islam and foreign-funded Islamic communities. They said.
I mean, I get it. There's the problem. So like, there's this big problem that we can't really talk about, which is that inside of the sanctuary of a church, if they're fomenting like violent dissent, that's a problem. That's against the law.
Yeah.
Are they? I don't know. But like, we have to be able to do something about that.
Right.
And they're not. It doesn't sound like they're trying to be random about kicking out imams or whatever.
So here's the deal.
Yeah.
Islamic immigrant communities, just like any immigrant community,
Right.
May have difficulty raising enough funds to build a mosque.
Sure.
Or perhaps even hire a well-trained imam.
Right.
Right? So what the government of Saudi Arabia does, and I don't know if it's officially the government that's doing it, but there's an entity it's Saudi money,
Right.
that pays for the construction of mosques the world over,
Right.
and sends in their Wahhabist imam.
Clerics or
Right?
Yeah.
Their radical vision of Islam is being exported
Right.
to these mosques all around the world. This is the argument against it. That's what they are specifically saying they're expelling.
Then
right?
I got news for you. You've got to get rid of the Mormons. Because all of the Mormon churches are funded out of the United States. They are
foreign interests.
They are sending in their communiques. All of the messaging has to come from Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
So if it's foreign involvement that you're worried about,
Right.
Mormons are worse.
Yeah, that's true, but they're sort of white-ish or whiter.
Yeah,
and ostensibly Christian.
Yeah.
And also I'm sure there are far more Muslims in Austria than there are Mormons.
Yes.
Just the fact they're closing down 7 mosques, that would lead me to believe that. I mean, if they did the same to the Mormons, Mormons wouldn't even exist anymore.
I'm just saying. I'm just trying to point out the hypocrisy of the move.
No. I hear you. I hear you.
I mean, if it were just about like security and the things that I'm guessing they're talking about, the ways that I'm guessing they're talking about it, if it weren't about racism and just Islamophobia, straight Islamophobia, that would be a different thing.
Right.
Then again, Mormons aren't doing any of the bombing. So
the Mormon suicide
yes, exactly.
bombers. Yeah.
Mormons are more dangerous in just their proliferation of like flavored soda drinks
and floral prints.
Yeah.
Bad shoes. That's the problem.
The bad shoes thing is kind of changing. Like there's a Mormon like hipster movement happening in Provo. It's gross, but it's gross in a totally different way than the bad shoes. The bad shoes are still there. They're still there, but
there will always be frumpy Mormons, Dan.
Oh yes, but there will always be frumpy everybody's. So
how ecumenical.
I'm gonna do a story about the Boy Scouts of America. Or rather, sorry, they're changing their name. The Scouts. The Scouts. I don't know what the new name is going to be, but they're letting girls in.
Yeah.
They've been making big changes.
The new name is Scouts BSA.
Right, which doesn't make any sense because we know what that B stands for. You can't trick us.
Yeah.
The B stands for boys.
Right.
What are you doing? Anyway, maybe they're going to change it. Maybe it's like now
Scouts bullshit America.
Right. Something. They've definitely had plenty of BS in their day. The Scouts have of late, and we've talked plenty about this, they've allowed in the girls, they've allowed in the trans, they've allowed in the gays, the Gay Scouts of America.
Good Lord. What are they doing?
So
one
could wonder if the one last group that they have not allowed in will be allowed in.
Oh.
Which am us.
Yeah.
They one wonders if maybe they'd be open to also letting open atheists go camping.
Yeah.
Learn to tie a knot. You know what I mean? Like, it seems pretty easy. If you're being that fucking inclusive, maybe you can just
maybe the BSA stands for Best Suck It Atheists.
It does stand for that. In point of fact, the National Executive Board has resolved
Fuck them.
to reaffirm their duty to God.
Fuck them. I hate them again.
Yep. Whereas,
fuck the Scouts.
They literally like had a resolution with all of the whereases and then a therefore, as they love to do.
I love whereases.
Yeah. They reference the Scout Law. They reference the Scout Oath, both of which have duty. The Scout Oath begins with "On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country."
Gross.
So they're leaving that in. They're set on that, and then also the Scout Law has a reverence or whatever, and that reverence is apparently about religious duty. With all of that, they have resolved that they reaffirm their unequivocal commitment to the declaration of religious principle as a fundamental component of the mission of the Boy Scouts. So don't think you get to go scouting anytime soon, because you don't.
I hate them.
It's so stupid. It's just
Why
so
do they
stupid.
care? First of all, give it the times, ding dongs.
Well, yeah, they just
if you're letting everybody else in.
They just lost their biggest group of scouts, which is the Mormons.
Don't exclude people.
You can't
just lost a quarter of your membership.
Yeah, you can't literally look at some demographics. You can't afford to not have us.
Yeah, we're growing.
Yeah,
you're losing movement.
You're losing everybody else. You really can't afford to lose us. But
oh my God!
You don't get us anyway. Don't join the Boy Scouts, the Scouts, BSA, the bullshit Scouts, whatever
bullshit
they are.
Alliance.
Yeah.
Anyway, BYU, Dan.
BYU. You're the one that went there.
You know they have a Hawaii school.
They have a campus in beautiful Laie on Oahu.
This was actually sent in to us from a listener, Kevin, who lives in Hawaii.
Okay.
He called this in, looked it up, and it's true.
Okay.
Apparently, they've had a horrible outcome after a student who reported some violence on campus toward one of her friends. Says that campus security failed to really respond.
Oh.
And the long and the short of it is, she's the one who gets kicked out of school.
I think that's BYU policy.
Right?
If you make everybody uncomfortable by reporting a crime,
You're the one.
Would you please leave? You're making us all feel very weird.
And it's not so simple. She was a foreign student.
Oh.
In on a student visa.
Oh, no.
Which was immediately revoked.
Oh.
And she was required to go back home to that shithole of Portugal.
Ugh.
Oh, this just sounds awful.
Yeah, who would want to live there? Poor girl.
Anyway.
I mean, she was kicked out.
She was kicked out of Hawaii.
It was Hawaii. She was in paradise.
Yeah.
And
everything looks pale by comparison. But yeah, back to Portugal with her. And so here's how it all went down.
Okay.
She, this friend of hers was assaulted by a boyfriend or some guy who she knew. It was right outside their athletics facility or like something of the sort.
Field house of some sort.
That this girl worked at, this Portuguese girl.
Okay.
Right? So she was able to look up on the security cameras and see exactly what went down. It was crystal clear, apparently.
Captured on...
see who the guy is. You could see her. Well, she calls up campus police who come out.
Campus security.
Campus security. She's coming to... it could be just campus security, But here's the deal. They don't do anything about it. She reports this crime, this offense, whatever. Security does nothing. So she, after the university has failed to respond, because she also approaches various school officials multiple times, with no instructions of, well, call the police or, hey, this is what you should do. It's, oh, okay, we're going to do something about it. So she takes her phone and records video of the video playing on the security camera system.
Sure.
Right? And then she gives that video to the victim's family.
Oh, wow.
So they could figure out what to do with it.
Because nothing was happening.
Because nothing was happening. So BYU Hawaii says that was their property and that this was a completely inappropriate release of video camera footage.
Right.
And that she's now suspended and therefore has to leave the country.
Hey, it's our decision whether or not anything is done to this man who beat a woman in full view of a security camera.
She says, I was just trying to help someone. It's not like I did it for fun or I did something and I was aware that I was doing something I wasn't supposed to do. I was just trying to help someone. I was in shock.
Well,
this is after weeks of trying to get the university to take anything.
Any action whatsoever.
Yeah.
Well, at least they kicked somebody out of the university. You know? Squeaky wheel. Gets apparently taken off the cart.
Apparently, now that this has received a lot of really bad media attention, they have suspended the attacker.
Oh, good. Good.
So
but not brought the girl back from Portugal, because that would...
No, she clearly broke the rules.
She broke a rule. We have rules here.
Right.
You can't... Like, I mean, that's much... And honestly, violating their privacy by showing somebody else a video, way worse than actually beating someone.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently.
Must be dealt with harshly, swiftly,
and irrevocably. Oh my God.
The Lord don't make mistakes.
No.
And the Lord tells us what to do.
No. Okay, so I thought I've been deciding between two different stories to talk about. We could talk about the raid that the Chilean police made on the Catholic Church in Chile. Because we've talked about the whole scandal that's happening in Chile of church, sexual abuse, child sexual abuse, and all of that sort of thing.
Right.
But I think I'm going to talk about a giant statue of Marilyn Monroe instead. This
sounds far more fitting.
This is a giant. It's 26 feet tall. This huge statue of Marilyn in her iconic pushing her skirt down as it blows up from 7 Year Itch.
Yeah.
Standing over
Who
the
doesn't
grate.
love that image?
Everybody loves that image.
It's delightful.
Yeah.
It's truly amazing.
And if you as a gay man can appreciate a woman's skirt being blown up, I think we can all appreciate it.
I appreciate it on different grounds.
Well, it's not like I'm being turned on by this statue or whatever. But I'll tell you who's definitely not being turned on by this statue. The church that is being mooned by her currently. Literally.
You can't see anything. Come on.
Her ass... I mean, it is clad in panties.
Holy shit, you can see stuff.
But it's pretty intensely it's her legs go all the way up and there she is in her underwear. Right. And it is apparently aimed directly at the Congregationalist church behind. This is a temporary exhibit. This statue apparently moves around.
Oh.
And it's just there for it's in Stamford, Connecticut. Their Stamford Downtown Special Services District's Art in Public Places series.
When do we get it here? I've got a perfect place to put it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, somewhere along South Temple.
Just aimed at the temple. Yeah, I think this is what she should be doing from now on, is just showing her ass to churches.
Yeah, right in the middle of the intersection there, facing Brigham Young. Mooning Brigham Young.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah, so this is it lasts through the summer, but man, some people have their panties in a twist about it.
Yeah. No pun intended.
No, the pun was very much intended. Frank, what are you saying? I meant that pun. Anyway,
oh God.
Yes, various people.
I was trying to get you off the hook, but
talking about how it's very offensive. Most people are fine with it. It's very funny because there are children climbing the legs and playing under her skirt and whatever, which I think is just delightful. But yes, people are saying it's disrespectful to the church.
Just awful.
Everybody, I just love the idea of people exiting a church and that being the view that they're getting.
Yeah. I figured there would be some roughly, frilly, whatever, kind of making her a little bit more decent.
No.
But no.
She's you just get a big old woof of her ass.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing, Dan. Well, all right. If you guys have anything to say about anything you've heard so far on the show.
Yeah, you can write into us. podcast@thankgodimatheist.com is the address.
Or you can call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yeah, hey, go to the Facebook page too, facebook.com/TGIA Atheist.
And while you're on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. It is a closed group, but Dan, we'll let you in.
It's very exclusive. You guys are very lucky to be a part of it.
Hey, Dan.
Yes, sir.
Dave Dobenmeyer is a name that we have unfortunately become familiar with.
Coach Dave.
Here on the TGIA.
Former head coach of a high school football team in Texas or something like that.
Inspirational figure.
Oh, my God.
A real smarty. You know what I mean?
In all of his videos, if you go and look up his videos, he's always wearing a baseball cap with a cross on it because he believes in the cross. And he's always in front of a green screen image of a stadium.
Yeah.
He's not at a stadium.
No.
He's no longer a coach. No one's hiring him to coach football.
This is branding, Dan.
But he's coach.
Very clever branding.
Coach Dave.
Yeah. Anyway, he has a message for people who feel pride about being gay. It's Pride Month, Dan.
Yeah.
Pride parades happening across the country. Oh, it's not pride we should be feeling, Dan, but shame.
What happened to shame? Didn't I do that last week? Didn't I do a show on that last week? I think shame is a good thing. Shame breaks you down. Shame drives you to your knees. Shame lets you know that you need a savior. What do you mean? Why do you make them feel ashamed? They're going to go kill their baby. Don't make them ashamed? What? Hey, guys, these dudes at the gay pride parade, prancing up and down the street. Hold your ears. Get your children away. Get your children away. Mute it, whatever. Do you know that those men doing that put their penises in the rectum of other men? Do you know that? Do you know that's what they do? And you think that's normal, and you think that's okay, and you think the Lord is okay with it, but coach, don't shame them. They're out there saying pride. They're proud of it.
Oh, poor guy.
They're proud of it.
It's like he just barely found out himself about anal sex, right? Like he's like, hey guys, holy shit! I just found out about this.
Okay, cover your kids' ears because what I'm about to tell you will blow your mind. And do you know what straight people are doing? He puts his penis into her vagina.
Oh
my God. What are you people doing? It's like they'll put their penis into anything that feels good.
Like there's an overwhelming driving impulse to do so.
Right. And some of them are doing it in holes that I'm not attracted to.
Oh.
What? Oh. It's repellent.
Shame, though, Dan. Shame.
It's a good thing. I think one thing we can agree with Coach Dave on is that we should definitely be pro shame. I think if there's any productive feeling in the human psyche, it's shame.
Oh yeah.
Just get on board that spiral and just slide on down,
Get
baby.
shit done, Dan.
It doesn't. It just paralyzes you into into righteousness. It's a righteous paralytic.
Shame.
Shame. Yeah.
I like shame. Shame's a good thing.
Yeah. Don't shame them, Coach. They're just
Pride,
proud.
Coach.
Are you proud?
Don't you like feeling proud, Coach Dave?
Coach Dave's so proud that he puts his penis into the correct into the religiously correct holes.
He chose correctly.
It's so much better. It's so much better to make sure that you're putting it in the right hole.
Oh, well, there you have it. Dan.
Oh, I see a hole in your thinking, Coach Dave.
We have voicemail, don't we?
We have some people who wanted their voices to be on. Well,
They
one of them
called in, Dan.
Well, one of them called in, and one of them sent us a voicemail via email, which I think is
works.
fine.
By whatever means.
Yeah, exactly.
You record your voice.
Yeah, if it's usable,
pertinent.
we'd love to use it. If it's and so why don't we do that one first? We'll do Allison first. She wrote into us with this commentary.
Excellent.
Hey guys, this is Allison, and I've been listening to your back catalog from the beginning. I think I'm somewhere in the middle of 2013 right now. In several of those early episodes, it has come up that y'all don't think that atheists have a unifying belief. Rather, atheists are only unified in the lack of a God belief, in contrast to religions, which are unified in having God beliefs. Now, I've only listened to 4 or 5 of the current most recent episodes, and this issue hasn't come up in those. So it's possible that you don't define the situation that way anymore. But if you do, I want to send a few thoughts your way, because I disagree. I think atheists do, in fact, share a unifying belief. It's not unlike, in Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, when Rosencrantz says he's not been on boats plenty of times, and Guildenstern corrects him saying that what he's been is not on boats. Not being on boats versus being not on boats. I see something similar happening here. You say the common feature for atheists is a lack of a God belief, but isn't the common feature rather a belief system that lacks a God? Everyone's got to have a belief system about the universe and what happens in it, a worldview, right? I don't think you can not have one, whether you're conscious of it or not. Atheists understand or believe the universe to be governed by natural laws, with non-divine causes and consequences. Theists believe the universe to be governed by a divine force, so it seems to me that the difference between theists and atheists is not belief versus lack of belief, but worldview with a God versus worldview without a God. What do you think? And feel free to totally disregard this if it's irrelevant, because I'm still in 2013. Love the show, guys. Thanks for doing what you do.
Well, thanks for that, Allison.
Yeah, thanks.
You know, you do a Tom Stoppard reference. You know you've got my heart. You know you've got me. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Wow, she went deep into that.
Okay.
I don't know if I agree with her or not. I'm actually of two minds about the thing.
Yeah, I myself have 2 thoughts on it.
Okay, why don't you go?
The first one is I think any argument that helps us feel kinship as atheists and feel that we do share and points out the things that we do share as far as like our worldview and whatnot, that cannot be a bad thing, right? That is something that should be encouraged, and we should be looking for arguments that unify.
Sure.
Because I think it's important that we have a sense of community amongst atheists.
Sure.
However, I still don't officially buy the argument that that we do really. That to be an atheist, one must share the same worldview. I don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I don't think. First of all, I don't think that theists, the thing that binds them is just a God belief. I think they have within every organized religion, there is a series of dogma centered around maybe their God belief, but lots of different dogma that they hold to.
Right.
That unify and bind them together.
Sure.
And that's a system of beliefs.
Right.
Whereas I think that most atheists, and again, I'm not even going to say all, but most atheists, we kind of believe that there are natural laws that govern the universe or whatever. But if you showed us evidence to the contrary, we'd just sort of believe that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think that's not a belief system.
Right.
It's just, and I choose not, like, personally, it is my cosmology is entirely to not believe anything for which there is insufficient evidence. So I just choose not to establish beliefs about most of the universe.
Sure. But let's say there's this person who doesn't believe in God.
Right.
Right. But maybe believes in some kind of woo.
Yeah.
Right. They don't have a specific God belief, but they believe, well, there's energy and there's this that binds us together, and I don't buy into that, and that's why I hesitate to like accept that.
I have atheist friends who are into astrology. Mm-hmm. I know atheist people who are into who are very much into the idea of a universal energy system, and I don't buy into any of that stuff.
Right. Exactly. And so for me, like, I think that's what we were talking about way back when. So she's right to point out we haven't really talked about that concept.
We thought we had it figured out, Allison.
Thanks for bringing it up.
And now you got to throw a wrench into the work.
No, but I still feel pretty much the same. That there really isn't anything beyond I don't believe in God that makes me an atheist. Right. And so, but again, Allison, great. I applaud the argument. I think it's
worth thinking about.
And a sense that like that we should be trying to find things that do tie us together. But then I would just step back and go for the more humanist type stuff. That our humanity is what ties us together.
Yes.
And I don't see that as connected to atheism.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Humanism is not connected. Is not like atheism is not the foundation of humanism.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
In my mind.
Also, I have spent time not on boats, and I have not spent time on boats. Both. I think both of those apply to me. You can't hold me down on any of that.
All right. Well, we do have another voicemail, and this is from somebody right here in Salt Lake City, Dan.
Oh.
And she's responding to another caller from a few weeks back who was sharing some details about a funeral that she had attended, and the way that her church started doing funerals, and so here we go.
Okay.
Hi, Frank and Dan. My name is Taylor. I live in beautiful but rainy right now, Salt Lake City, Utah, with you guys. Just this week on the show, I listened in and you had a caller. Can't remember her name. I'm so sorry. She called about chanting in funerals, and you guys made a crack about Zen Buddhism. Well, my boyfriend's family is Buddhist, and we just went through the experience of his grandmother's funeral, which was terribly sad, but also 7 straight weeks of chanting in a funeral. Every Sunday we had to go for at least an hour while a monk came to bless and I guess some sort of sanctifying of her home because she had died there. And on top of not understanding Chinese, I don't think the chanting had anything to do with her. But yeah, pretty scary stuff. The stuff we do for family and love, huh? Anyway, thanks for the show. Always loving it. Have a good day. Bye.
Well, thanks, Taylor.
My goodness, that sounds awful. I'm sorry. Like you're just like you have to deal with the passing of a loved one, and then also 7 weeks was it of go and hear somebody chant at a house.
That seems excessive.
Why are you talking to the house? There's no need to chant at a house.
There's a bit of grandma left there. Is probably the problem.
I guess
They got to get her out.
like this. It's
Get her spirit someplace else.
Fucking
I
love.
have no
I
clue
love
what that's about.
when the Eastern religions start to get dogmatic. I love it when they start to get like the woo, the creepy woo stuff in.
Yeah.
This house is clean. Like, what are you doing? Why you're and yeah, you're probably right, because if I know Buddhism, and I don't, it's not about the person. The chanting is just chanting. And what does it have to do with anything?
Nothing at all.
You're
Dan.
just saying words in a place. That's all you're doing. Congratulations on saying words
I know.
over and over and over in a place.
Made some people feel better.
Maybe. Yeah, I
Hopefully.
mean, you know,
If you're
ritual.
doing something creepy and weird, I hope somebody feels better because of it.
Right. Ritual can be really important in processing grief. And I'm on board with that. We talked about that on the How to Heretic with Paige, that like establishing ritual, and for us, what's great is that we have the freedom to establish our own idiosyncratic ritual. We can do if your ritual involves just getting around, cracking some beers, and going around in a circle with your friends and telling stories about your lost loved one. That's a great ritual. You know what I mean? We get to decide what our ritual is, as opposed to, I guess we've got to do the ritual that I've never connected to, but is prescribed for me by my belief system.
Right.
But yeah, hopefully it made somebody feel better.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
Whatever. Well, Dan,
Yeah.
it's time to thank a couple people
Thank you.
and a few people. Actually, thank all of our current Patreon and PayPal supporters.
Yes.
But specifically, we have a couple new patrons on Patreon.
Okay.
They both signed up at the venerable level.
Lovely. Thank you.
Which is $2 an episode,
Great.
by the way. That's astounding.
Again, you get to choose the level at which you support.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's thank Jessica. Thank you very much, Jessica.
Thank you.
And James.
All hail Jessica and James. It's the Double J crew. Here's what they did. They went to thankgodimatheist.com. They clicked on the Patreon button. It's super easy. You just sign up. You decide what level you want to help us out at, and then you give that on a per episode donation basis.
Yeah.
And then we hail you as one of the great people.
Absolutely. And I'd like to let you in on a little secret, folks.
Yeah.
Right? Like, let's say you're like, oh, $1 an episode means $4 a month, and that just seems a little steep if you ask me. You can set a monthly maximum. It's
Okay.
a little dirty secret.
Yeah.
But let's say you wanted it to only be $2 for the whole month. You can say I'm only comfortable no matter how many episodes you post this month. Do it at $2. Right. So if it sounds steep, it doesn't have to be.
Just do whatever you're comfortable. But do give as much as you are comfortable giving. Find your comfort level and max it out.
And we need now to thank somebody who did just that.
Yes, indeed.
Our top donor. She reigns supreme.
Forever may
She's
she
our
wave.
Lord and Savior, Angela.
You're a peach, Angie.
Dan,
Yes, sir.
did you know that we don't have just a heavenly Father?
What?
Well, how can you have a father without a mother?
It doesn't
Dan?
make any
It doesn't
sense.
make any sense, right?
But shh. I think we're not supposed to talk about it.
But no, this is okay. So Dan, when we were kids growing up in the Mormon church, that is how it was.
It was like,
did you know?
it was basically like, we're so grateful for our Heavenly Father and for the Holy Ghost and for Jesus Christ and for blah, 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 blah. And then someone's like, and we also have a Heavenly Mother. Everybody shut up about it and let's move on.
But they don't do that anymore.
Well,
They are more willing they don't really speculate, but they're willing to actually mention her as a figure.
They're like
right?
a tiny
in the cosmology
bit
of Mormonism. There are actually like little books out that are like published that are sold at like Deseret Books, which is the Mormon-owned bookstore chain.
The church has put out one of their essays that is intended for all the outsiders to read, and none of the Mormons actually read them. But they've put out one of their essays about Mother in Heaven.
Right. And so it's this crazy cuckoo thing that they've really started to get on board with.
Yeah.
So a little bit of background, if this is all new and you've never heard of this before.
Right.
Mormon theology, sort of their understanding of the afterlife and what our purpose is as human beings and whatnot.
Yeah.
It does not work if you don't acknowledge that there would have to be a Heavenly Mother.
Right.
This figure must exist logically, even though there's no real mention of her in sort of Mormon scripture.
Right. Because we're talking about, though they never talk about it this way, a polytheistic religion.
Right.
A religion in which there are countless gods, but only one for us.
Right.
Only
So
one governing us.
they're monotheistic in this is the one we worship.
Right. We're practically
There are plenty others.
Right. It's a practical monotheism for us.
Right.
But out there in the universe, there are many gods. And
multiverse.
The way that we know this is that we are promised, as Mormons, that we get to be a god later.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that fun?
Sorry, scratch that. As Mormon men, we get to be a god later.
But what about goddesses?
But then everybody,
Aren't there goddesses?
yes, there does seem to be a big gaping question there, which is what, okay, great. All us guys have a fun goal.
Right.
And if you're goal-oriented, what better goal could there be than to be all-powerful, all-knowing, and like in control of your own universe?
It's kind of the top goal you could ever set for yourself.
Feels pretty good.
Yeah. And what do the ladies get to set goals for?
Cleaning heaven. I don't know.
Be by their man's side.
Be next to the guy who achieved that goal.
Yeah, exactly.
Behind every successful god, there's a woman or 5 or 20.
Which is also part of the whole thing.
Right. Men can have multiples. Women cannot. But yes, so logically speaking, if that's the case for us, then why wouldn't... And by the way, a man can't achieve highest exaltation and therefore God status without a wife.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's true.
That's necessary.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
Right.
You can do it, you know, and if you got a bunch of wives, they'd probably get through there faster or whatever.
Right.
So, if that's, and that's modeled on our God. As God is, man shall be, and as man is, God once was. This is sort of the whole kit and caboodle with their thing.
Right. So it's this cyclical, God creates man, man becomes God, and then that new God creates more.
Does the same thing.
Yeah.
It perpetuates into ad infinitum.
Well, you know, they figured out the fact that the universe is infinite.
Yeah.
Long before anybody else did, Dan.
Well,
they might be onto something.
I don't know. But here's what that means is that you have to be able to go backwards as well as forwards, and that means that we've got at least one Heavenly Mother.
Yeah.
They never talk about the possibility that there's multiple Heavenly Mothers.
I think they all secretly know it, though.
I don't know. I've only heard of a Heavenly Mother.
You might have a different Heavenly Mother than I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pooping out spirit babies.
They're sister wives in heaven.
Sister
right?
wives in heaven pumping out the spirit babies. And then, wow. So, yeah, I mean, there's all of these. So it goes back a ways. There's no record of a, quote, formal revelation to Joseph Smith on this doctrine. The earliest references we have to it are actually after Joseph's death. The ladies started piping up about how he was telling them about this stuff. Apparently, He wasn't preaching this in the church,
But in the bedroom.
but to placate the ladies.
What?
Because he had a lot of women to please.
Yeah.
He came up with this doctrine and told them about it.
It was pillow talk.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no, baby. You're going to be right by my side. Well, sometimes right by my side when it's your turn.
Yeah.
And we'll all be creating in heaven.
Together. Oh, my God.
Yeah. For the longest time, the word was, we don't talk about her out of respect.
Oh, right.
Do you remember hearing that?
She's very special.
She's very important, and we don't talk about her because we respect her so goddamned much.
That's such Mormon think right there. That's it's secret. It's not secret. It's sacred.
Right. Explain to me how the way we respect God is we talk all about him all the goddamn time. But the way we respect Heavenly Mother is we shut our fucking holes.
We don't acknowledge her existence.
Explain to me how that's the respectful thing to do.
Respectful. That's what women like. She just wants to be left alone. She doesn't need all this attention. She doesn't want to be put on a pedestal.
Well, I'm going to give you Elder Rudger Clausen's take on it, which is the fact that we do not pray to our Mother in heaven in no way belittles or denigrates her. We honor woman when we acknowledge godhood in her eternal prototype. Wait. So what you're saying is we acknowledge her godhood, but we don't treat her like a god.
Right.
We don't pray to her.
Right.
But she's a god.
Right. But she has no personality, no identity, nothing outside of her godly husband.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it, right?
Oh, I think I've combined two. So the fact that we do not... So the first part of that quote was actually Gordon Hinckley, and the second part was Rudger Clausen.
Gotcha. All right.
President Gordon B. Hinckley says that it doesn't belittle or degrade her. Yeah. It's it's goofy and it's funny, but you do hear the phrase heavenly parents. I'm a child of heavenly parents.
Oh, yeah.
Only one of whom I'm on speaking terms with.
I don't know. Maybe he's protecting us from her. Maybe she's a real bitch.
She's such a bitch. She was abusive, both verbally and whatever. So she's up there creating us and doing whatever.
Yeah.
But don't pray to her because she will just scream at you.
Well, he's still mad that she sided with Satan in the in the war in heaven. He couldn't exactly kick her to the curb, but
oh my God,
he's still mad.
Well, if she did, then she was right.
I know. Oh, Mormonism, Dan.
It's I'm just going to point out we're only talking about Mormonism because that's what we were raised with. Whatever you were raised with, if it was likely just as stupid.
Oh, easily. Once you stop and look at any of it, how can you say that, this is so cuckoo crazy?
Right.
Compared to, but the Trinity makes sense.
Right, exactly. Catholicism makes no more sense than Mormonism. We're just more used to it. That's all there is to it. Matter of fact, kids, if you have a weird theology with which you were raised, we'd love to hear about it.
We would love to hear about it.
Please write into us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or, Dan,
yeah,
did you know
what?
That you could call and leave us a voicemail message.
I could?
If you really wanted to.
Or they could.
Anyone can.
Anyone can. I can definitely call us.
The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yes, true. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIA Atheist, and click the like button. And our LO page. Just kidding. Nobody does LO. That was a joke.
I don't even know what that is. Or, while you're on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge. Request to join. It's a closed group. It's moderated. It's civil.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
It's
so
great.
Go check it out.
Go to our Snapchat. Just kidding. That's also not a thing that we do. We're too old. Hey, speaking of Facebook, by the way, let's thank Mackenzie for all of her amazing work on the Facebook page. She's awesome. And also thanks to Sarah, Danny, and Amy for moderating the Members Only Lounge. They're peaches all.
And, of course, a big thanks goes out to the Red Rock Hot Club and also Gordon Johnston for the use of their music on the show.
And thank you, dear listeners, for tuning in. We sure do appreciate it when you do.
Bye now.
Goodbye.